Your heart drops when 5 kids have died and there's any sign that there was a safety problem at the home, especially so recently.
And it wasn't long after that interview this morning with Jordan Smith of the South Bend Tribune, we found out a 6th kid died from Sunday's devastating fire on Laporte Avenue. 11-year-old Angel Smith died from her injuries earlier today at an Indianapolis hospital. She was a 6th grader in Navarre Middle School, and we're just hearing from school officials. They say to our team she'll be greatly missed. And that is where we start tonight at 6 o'clock as we're reporting on several major developments from this tragedy. We hope you're safe. I'm Joshua Shore.
And I'm Lauren Moss. Joining us at the desk, Erika Jimenez, who spoke with South Bend's mayor today on how we can prevent something like this from ever happening again. And George Mallet, who's breaking down the Tribune's report on this home failed federal safety inspections months ago. All
right, George, is where we start. George, that report, it's pretty damning here.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. It is damning because the House underwent that federally mandated inspection 6 months ago, and it flunked big time. Everything from a collapsing ceiling in the kitchen to an infestation of roaches to a front door that wouldn't lock. But here's the big one. Major electrical problems. All of this uncovered by a true gumshoe reporter. You saw him, the South Bend Tribune's Jordan Smith.
The fire came suddenly Sunday, igniting the night, quickly becoming a fatal inferno. 5 children died that night. Their sister died this morning. 2 firefighters were injured. This week, when the South Bend Public Housing Authority met, they discussed the fire.
The new director of South Bend's Public Housing Authority raised concerns about the home on Laporte Avenue that burned.
That was Marcia Parham Green. And after she raised her concerns, the South Bend Tribune's Jordan Smith started doing what journalists have done for generations. He started digging.
Smith looked back to last year when the home was part of the Housing Choice Voucher Program.
That home just 6 months before had failed a federal safety inspection, and one of the main hazards cited in that inspection was an electrical problem throughout the entire home.
Jordan, though, reports the landlord, WJM Property Management, failed to fix the many problems cited in the inspection, and the Housing Authority moved the family living there out. The home was then no longer part of the voucher program and therefore no longer subject to inspections. In October, the Smiths moved in.
The fire department stresses that they don't know where the fire started or why it started, but the tenant who was the father to those six children, David Smith, said in a video on Facebook that he had electrical problems in the home. He said it seemed like only 2 of the outlets were working.
Okay, now the landlord, WJM Property Management, maintains they made all of the repairs mandated before the Smith family moved in, but there aren't any city inspections of the property to confirm that claim.
As they say, watch this space. A lot more to come in that regard. We appreciate your reporting. Jordan, we appreciate your reporting as well.
Our fire department, as well as the state fire marshal, are in the process of trying to find answers to what happened on Sunday night and why we suffered this horrific tragedy in our community.
As we continue our coverage into that deadly fire, we just heard from the mayor of South Bend, a city still in mourning.
Yeah, Erika Jimenez spoke with the mayor today and joins us at the desk with that part of our team coverage. Erika, what did he have to say to you?
Yeah, Lauren and Josh, the mayor didn't say much, but he couldn't because of the ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, our team is digging into some of the glaring issues surrounding that building so that something like this doesn't happen again. It's been 5 days since that fatal fire on South Bend's west side. It took the lives of 6 children, including Angel Smith, who, according to our reporting partners at the South Bend Tribune, died on Friday morning. We now know that the house had recently failed a federal safety inspection in July. During that time, the Housing Authority of South Bend was helping pay rent for the previous tenants.
The Housing Authority, of course, does, the reason why they had an inspection within the city of South Bend is they provide housing vouchers to folks who qualify so they can pay their rent. And they're required by the federal government to do their own safety checks for those who are receiving vouchers.
They moved out after several violations were found, including electrical problems throughout the entire home. And many have been left wondering if anything could have been done to prevent this. According to Mayor Mueller, the Rental Safety Verification Program, or RSVP, is here to prevent tragedies like this.
We've got to wait until the investigation comes back and figure out exactly what happened and what are steps that we can do. We know, broadly speaking, that we've been working for years to to make sure that all rental units are safe in South Bend. We have a program, and we'll continue to work through that program.
It is still unknown what caused the fire, but the mayor says the South Bend Fire Department and the State Fire Marshal are collaborating on the investigation. And State Representative Jay Teshka is following the investigation closely.
And as a father myself, I mean, this is just a heartbreaking story. And so we're going to dig in and see, if there's any way that government action or inaction added to or could have prevented something like this.
In the last hour, we have learned through a family friend that services for the children will be at the Century Center on February 5th.
Okay, Erika, we appreciate that reporting. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this news tonight of a 6th child dying from that fire makes all of this news so tough to stomach. It's an uncomfortable bookend to an unfortunate week for all of us here in Michiana. We've heard from you, we've read the emails, and we've taken your calls as well. We know this is tough stuff for everybody. It makes this video right there on your screen of the house fire almost hard to watch, knowing 6 kids could not escape this. So instead, we want to show you this video. It shows a memorial for the Smith family. It's a small yet beautiful gesture for the community to those directly and indirectly impacted. Our team noticed investigators on scene today. You see them there near that growing memorial as there are growing questions surrounding this tragedy. As we continue to see the bears, the balloons, the letters pile up on Laporte Avenue, we slowly turn away from what happened and begin to ask ourselves, how could this have happened? And how can we help this family in mourning? That remains our focus as we continue to report on this tragedy while also honoring and remembering those who are victims of it. We've been talking about this all week long from Monday on, and then today we got the news of that last child, that 6th child. It's a gut punch to everyone involved and everyone who responded that night as well.
And again, as we've said, it not only affects this one family, this is something affecting our entire community.
Yeah, we are thinking about everybody involved at this hour for sure.
And as more information comes out regarding this deadly fire investigation, we will bring it to you on air and online at WNU.com. You can also find out how to donate to the Smith Family Fund on our website. That's live right now.
All right, there's a lot more to get to tonight, but first, let's take a break and check of our first alert forecast.
We're taking a live look outside with our downtown South Bend Skyview cam.
Now it's 6 o'clock, and guess what? It's still light out there. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Matt Engelbrecht joins us now from the Weather Lab.
Yeah, as we first alerted you to yesterday, we weren't going to see much in the way of snowpack, but more green grass. One thing we are still seeing, one of the rare sights here in Michiana, is the Lake Michigan iceberg. Still off there. There's the ice shelf looking a little bit more dirty, but this is not the time, based on the last couple of days, to either go out on the ice or if there is any ice in and around your area, whether it's a pond or even a lake, stay off it. 38 degrees right now in St. Joe, and the more concerning part about any kind of ice formation or lack thereof is that our overnight lows have been above freezing as well. That's going back to earlier this week. Now we'll keep the trend alive, the one that we started a few days ago. So if it's foggy, it's not raining, but if it's rainy, it is not foggy. The green that you see here, so the fog, not a big problem, but it doesn't take much once that rain shuts off for that dense fog to redevelop. Still a bit of a rainy night if you're traveling this Friday evening. If you're headed north, you're going back into some rain, but same situation into Illinois and Wisconsin. We'll talk more about the 40s, possibly the 50-degree temperatures returning to Michiana coming up in about 10 minutes.
Matt, thank you. The pothole madness continues around town. Look at this. Earlier this morning, several people called our newsroom about the long line of cars with flat tires near a massive pothole on Prairie Avenue. This is right in front of Four Winds Casino. A viewer says they noticed over a half a dozen flats caused by this pothole alone. Thankfully, NDOT crews were able to fill the pothole a little after 9 o'clock this morning. New developments tonight about an intake center for the homeless.
Yeah, news conference regarding the matter got heated too, as plans for the location are stirring up some controversy. Natasha Casal was inside that room today when it all went down. She joins us from the newsroom right now. Natasha, it was pretty intense in there.
Yeah, Josh, it was. And basically everyone is all about helping the homeless, but they just don't want the facility to be built so close to residential areas.
Do you have a list of all the other sites that you were looking at?
Sure, we can get you a list at every site we've looked at. I am telling you, the team has looked at every parcel in the city.
That was just one of many exchanges between St. Joseph Commissioner Derek Dieter and South Bend Mayor James Mueller.
But to those who say we need these critical services in this community, but this site is not the right one, show us which site is better. Give us the site that's better.
You want us to give you a better site?
Sure.
Well, you've had the task force and working on it for years. Why haven't you come up with alternatives?
We looked at it. This is the only site. This is the only viable site at this point.
The location for a new low-barrier intake center for the homeless is the center of controversy. It's set to be built on a vacant 5-acre field that's north of the South Bend school bus garage off Bendix, which had many residents voice their frustrations.
And I see the movement of homeless people in that area is tremendous to me that we've never seen before are coming into the city. And you asked the question about an alternative site. I'm looking right out the window at one. Who owns all this property? What would be better to have an intake center right here by the police station, by the homeless center? What about all this property right here? Can't it be put up here?
Although for one woman at the meeting, she became the voice for those who have experienced homelessness and those who are currently without a place to call home.
I am homeless. Sir, look at me. I'm not trash. I am a PhD. It can happen to me.
That's right.
The mayor believes that the new intake center will not ruin any neighborhoods in the area, and there will be a public meeting to continue this conversation next week, and you can find more information on that at our website, WNDU.com. And I asked for city officials to send me that list of other locations they were possibly thinking for the facility, and I'm still waiting to hear back.
All right, our Natasha Cassell all over this story for us tonight. Natasha, thank you.
The conversation continues. All right, happening today, 5 Indiana state reps talk bills, budgets, and more at a meeting at the South Bend History Museum.
Those reps took questions from both the moderator and the audience, too. One of the speakers, State Representative Jake Teshka. He talked about his happy hour bill, as well as why it's important for representatives and community members to come together.
A lot of times when we talk to folks back in the districts, they're not necessarily even sure about what's going on at the State House. And some of that is because, right, what goes on in Washington gets a lot of media attention, and what happens in Indy doesn't always get that attention. And so I would really just encourage folks to follow along and watch what's going on and get engaged.
Today's event also focused on Hoosier retirement, education, and what lawmakers are doing for the environment right now. The History Museum will have another opportunity to talk with state reps next month.
A health alert now. The city of Goshen issues a boil order across part of the city. It covers North Goshen, North 7th, 8th, 9th, Summit, Center, and Cross Streets. This is between Middlebury and Cross. The boil order went into effect around 1 o'clock this afternoon when a water main valve was shut off to repair a water main break. You see the area right here. It's recommended that all cooking and drinking water be brought to a complete boil for at least 5 minutes before using it. If you're unsure if your home falls in that area under the oil, just order, that is. Head to our website, WNDU.com.
There's a lot more to get to on this busy Friday for us, including Matt's full forecast.
We'll be right back after this break.
You're watching WNDU TV. 16 News Now at 6.
All right, a little bit of lighter news to get to. And happening today, there's a new place you can get your caffeine fix in the Princess City.
Scooter's Coffee celebrating their first day of business in Mishawaka. The new Java joint is open at 2440 East 12th Street, just north of George Wilson Park. Scooter's Coffee is known for their drive-through service. There's also one off Bristol Street in Elkhart.
All right, a lot more to come, including Matt's full forecast. That's in about 30 seconds? Yeah. 30 seconds.
Now, welcome back on this Friday, gearing up for a pretty comfortable weekend. Now, what might not be comfortable are the potholes you might be hitting in and across Michiana. Something we reported on the last couple of days. They're going to be sticking around. The temperatures are going to be warmer. They're going to be above freezing, and I'm not expecting any snow anytime soon. In fact, winter taking another 7 to 10 day pause. At least 7 to 10 days. You'll see that in the 10-day forecast. Current temperatures right now, mid to upper 30s, around 40 degrees as expected. A little bit cooler through Laporte and Michigan City, 37 in Winnemac, 39 in Rochester. We're going to continue the trend that we set up the last couple of days, meaning it's going to be foggy tonight. And if it's not foggy, it's probably raining. Here's a look at the temperature trend. 37 degrees by 8 p.m., 36 degrees by 10 o'clock. The rainfall forecast for tonight is going to be for light rain or even light drizzle. Nothing like the ½ inch to an inch of rainfall that we got last night into early this morning. It is going to keep everything wet and saturated through the night tonight and for your Saturday morning. Now, speaking of which, there are some light showers still in and across the area. That is keeping that dense fog from developing. Back here to the north, a weak low pressure system is going to be working to the north. And in terms of intensity and coverage, this is going to be very similar to what we're going to have Saturday night and into Sunday. The difference is that early Sunday morning, temperatures in the upper part of the atmosphere, they're going to be cool enough that we may get some embedded snowflakes. But what we had back in December, a similar situation this weekend, is that any snow that comes down is going to quickly melt with these overnight lows, your morning and afternoon temperatures staying above freezing. So this is Saturday at 7 a.m. I want to point out a couple of things right here into Goshen, but also back out here near Valpo. There's going to be some thinning of the clouds. It's not going to go completely sunny, but it's going to be just enough in the afternoon to give us hope. Hope that full sunshine will break out. I don't think until maybe next week they'll start to get into more sunshine in the forecast. Even then, it's not going to be a completely sunny day, even though temperatures are going to be well above average. This is Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning, mid to upper 30s. Saturday at 11 o'clock by the middle part of the day, some thinning of the clouds, and then overnight Saturday into Sunday. It's that system I was talking about. Just some very light rain trying to come through. May mix in a few snowflakes when you start the day on Sunday. Keep in mind, sunrise is around 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you're waking up, headed out to maybe some of those early church services, we have a few snowflakes, but not expecting any impacts from the snow or accumulation. 10-day forecast as promised, upper 30s, lower 40s. Top part of your screen, it'll show you average high 31 degrees. We're above that for the next 10 days. Sports coming up after the break.
We have some high school basketball coming your way tonight at 11, and the Brandywine boys and girls are both playing really well. The girls are ranked second in Michigan. They haven't lost a game yet. The boys have only lost twice to two of the top three teams in the state. They're a hot topic in Michigan high school basketball, and our Jackson Neal is going to tell us more about them.
It's a record year for Brandywine basketball.
Obviously, we want to win state this year, and I think this is the group that we have like a good chance.
The boys and girls teams are both ranked in the top 5 of the state.
It's just something special in this gym with this community when they get behind you. It's like family, you know, and it just keeps growing.
The girls entered today with a 9-0 record, and last week they earned the program's first ever #1 state ranking.
Every team is going to give us like their best effort because we're the team to beat. Like, we got the targets on our back, but it's definitely a challenge. But I mean, it's the way we want it because we want to get better for the postseason, so it's a good thing.
We talk all the time about pressure being a privilege. You know, there's a lot of programs where there's not pressure to win and to be successful. And these girls feel the pressure, but they've embraced it, and it's made them work even harder.
This group has been together since before high school.
We've been playing with each other since like kindergarten. Even like the older girls, we always been like moved up, playing against like when we're in 5th grade, playing against 6th and 7th graders. Like we've just always been together.
There's that same familiarity for the 5th-ranked boys. The Bobcats have 9 seniors, including twins Jeremiah and Jameer Palmer.
Growing up as like a twin, like y'all got chemistry like all the time. So like y'all both know like what y'all gonna do, or you know, you can just look at each other and know what to do without saying nothing.
They already made the state Final Four last year, showing them what's possible.
It's amazing, like they really talk about it every day. Coach bring it up a lot every day. You know, we just want to make it there again. That's all we want to do.
Both now have about a month before the playoffs, as they try and make this record season one that goes down in history. In Niles, Jackson Neal, 16 Sports.
Jackson, thank you. And meanwhile, the Notre Dame women have struggled against Syracuse this season. They lost in a top 25 matchup to the number 22 Orange, 79-65. The Irish were ranked 15th heading into last night. Head coach Neil Ivey told us they got to clean things up before tomorrow night at UConn. With sports, Julianne Pelusi, make it a great weekend, and we'll see you tonight with high school hoops coverage.
Right now, the execution officials say was textbook, but that witnesses say was otherwise. The questions after a new execution method is put to the test in Alabama. Also, the challenge of shutting down fake AI-generated intimate images of Taylor Swift.
You'll be watching NBC Nightly News with us shows tonight.
I know, that was bad out there.
Indeed.
They better not AI you.
Speaking of AI. Hello, Matt. No, he's a real person.
He's real.
Tell us about the real forecast going into the weekend.
Or am I? Next 10 days. Here's a look at it. Saturday and Sunday, upper 30s, lower 40s. Monday and Tuesday, upper 30s, lower 40s. And really, I don't know if AI could make up this kind of 10-day forecast. Your average low this time of year, 16 degrees. So if you're cold a couple of weeks ago, check out that 10-day forecast. We're breaking out and putting winter on pause, not only this weekend, but also next week as well.
Okay, we appreciate that, Matt. Thank you.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you watching all this week. We know it was a tough one, so thank you. We held your hand through it all. We will see you next week, Monday.